Hey guys, Blue Life here, and today I'm reviewing Star Trek the Motion Picture on Blu-ray. And this is a film that a lot of fans do not like, and I can kind of see why. It's paired up with, The Final Frontier as, those are the two worst Star Trek movies, most people say. And, for the motion picture, I have to disagree. Now, to talk a little about the backstory on this, after the original series of Star Trek was canceled in 1969, the creator Gene Roddenberry had tried to bring the series to the big screen. And after a number of failed attempts, Paramount decided that it was going to be the flagship television show that would air on their new Paramount television network. So in 1977, a new Star Trek series was commissioned in the form of Star Trek Phase 2. And, it went into pre-production, sets were built, scripts were written. Unfortunately, this proposed Paramount television network never went anywhere. And they reworked the pilot episode for Star Trek Phase 2 into the script for the motion picture. So a few characters like Commander Decker and Alia from the Star Trek Phase 2 scripts wound up in the movie as characters. So I just thought that was a little interesting backstory on there. As far as the movie goes, the story starts off with there is this massive ship that is heading towards Earth and really destroying anything that gets in its path. And, at the same time, the Enterprise has been remodeled from the ground up under a new captain, Captain Decker, William Decker. And Kirk has been promoted to Admiral. And he also was Chief of Starfleet Operations for a while. And he convinces Starfleet to let him take back the Enterprise to go meet this threat out there, see what they can do. And he goes up to the ship and meets his own old crew, and tells this to Decker that he's taking command. And Decker is pissed. He was all excited that he got his first command, and then some old admiral just comes in and takes it away from him. He thinks the guy's being selfish and all that. So you really feel for the guy. Stephen Collins plays Commander Decker. He does a pretty good job in this. At the same time, Spock is back on Vulcan. He's about to finish up Kolinar, which is the purging of all emotions. But here's a cry from the ship out there, and realizes that he has to go investigate that. And so he fails the Kolinar training. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the story. The original crew gets back together on the ship, and they go to meet this massive unknown ship, which they find out is called V'ger. And I'm not going to really go into the ending of it because it does have kind of a neat little twist at the end. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it. But I think the reason that a lot of people don't like this film is the pacing. The pacing is very slow in most parts, and I think they were trying to make this movie kind of an epic science fiction movie in the vein of 2001. So it's meant to be slower paced. I think the tagline for this movie was "The human experience, or the human adventure, is only just beginning," something like that. And I can understand why some people think it's boring, but I think the story is great and really harkens back to the main concept of Star Trek, which is exploring the unknown. And the score for the motion picture is amazing. And, you know, if you're a fan of Star Trek The Next Generation, you'll definitely pick up on the theme, because this was the first time that they used that theme, and they just reused it for Next Generation. So, just a really, really great score on this film. The special effects in this film are actually quite good. The model shots of the ships look gorgeous. Pretty much everything in V'ger looks great. The only bad thing about the special effects that I could tell was all the blue screen CSO stuff they used, and it's much more noticeable on the Blu-ray. But it doesn't look good at all. But, you know, special effects aside, the story is quite good. If you can stand the pacing, I definitely recommend this one. So for the story, I'm going to go ahead and give it a B+. As for the picture quality, there's a nice amount of detail in it, which you can definitely see in the model shots. But, you know, I really don't see any grain. Maybe a bit here and there, but I think that's probably because they DNR'd the hell out of this. But usually the detail is good in it. Sometimes I did notice some softness creeping into the picture, but I think it was a decent transfer on this. So certainly not perfect, but certainly looks better than what we've seen on DVD. So for the picture quality, I'm going to go ahead and give this a C+. For the special features, since I actually don't have the case itself, I'm going to be reading all the special features off of my computer screen. So first up, you do get 8 minutes of deleted scenes. I think all this stuff was mainly character moments that they did put back in for the old Director's Edition, which maybe we'll see someday on Blu-ray. You also get storyboards, trailers, 5 minutes worth of trailers. I think it has a teaser trailer and theatrical trailer. They're both in HD. You also get TV spots. You also get an audio commentary with Trek experts Michael and Denise Okuda, authors Judith and Garfield Reese-Stevens, and visual effects artist Darren Dotcherman. You also get the library computer, which this is on all of the Star Trek Blu-rays. And this is kind of a neat little feature if you're not familiar with everything in Star Trek. Say like if they mention warp drive in the film, it'll pop up if you have it activated in the top right corner, and then you can use your remote and click on it, and it'll actually give you a definition of what warp drive is. And so that's a pretty neat feature. You also get a featurette, The Longest Trek, Writing the Motion Picture. This is a look at the making of the film, like the beginning of it, and talks a little bit about Star Trek Phase 2. Then you also have Special Star Trek Reunion. This is during the production of the film, 5 Star Trek fans, including James Doohan's son, were actually given the chance to be in the film in the I think in the debriefing scene, and so they kind of just sit around and talk about that experience, and it's a neat little feature on here. And then you also do have the Star Trek IQ, which you can do Star Trek trivia with BD Live. And then you have the Starfleet Academy SciSec Brief 001, the mystery behind V'ger. And this is really just a bit of fluff. It's kind of neat though. It's a Starfleet officer, I think that in around the Next Generation, well past the Next Generation movies timeline, just talking about V'ger kind of as a history lesson. So it's kind of neat. And that's really it for the special features. So I'm going to go ahead and give the special features on this Blu-ray a C+, which brings the overall grade for Star Trek The Motion Picture to a C+. As I said, this is a pretty enjoyable film if you can stand the pacing on it. It is a bit slow, but I'd say the story is really worth sitting through it. And if you're a Star Trek fan, I think you will like this film. Alright guys, till next time.